This video will show you why Squawkabilly is a ridiculously powerful Pokemon under the right conditions. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle. Today we have a battle versus Tyler, also known as Lazy Boy, from the Discord server. You should definitely join the Discord server. It's the best place to go for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battles right now. There is a link in the description down below. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this one. And with that being said, let's jump into the team preview. Alright, Tyler's brought a pretty good team this time. No Houndstone, which is pretty awesome. He's got the Meowscarada, the Rotom Heat, the Vaporeon, Garchomp, Forretress, and a Salamence. Salamence is nice to see. Salamence is like my favorite Dragon-type Pokemon of all time. It's amazing. Absolutely love it. It's a shame it's not as good as it used to be. Like back in Gen 3 and 4, oh, it was killer. Absolutely killer. But nowadays, not so much. So anyway, looking at the team matchup, I'm thinking Elvis is going to put some work in here. If we can outspeed and KO that Meowscarada, that'd be great. Forretress is going to put a stop to it, and we can two-shot Garchomp, even if it's a bulky Garchomp. So we're actually, I know you should really run Flame Orb, but I'm running Hustle with Choice Scarfed, and I'm really just banking on hitting my moves, really. So looking at the team, they probably with either Meowscarada or the Rotom Heat. Rotom Heat's actually a problem for me. Slowking can handle it to an extent, but not like super well. Let's go ahead and lead with not Slowking. Let's lead with the Squawkabilly, and we'll get that nice and powerful fast U-turn off on whoever they lead with, unless they lead with the Meowscarada, in which case we'd still U-turn. And the battle begins. So Tyler's gonna lead off with Forretress, as we led off with Squawkabilly, Elvis II. So we're in a decent position here. They're probably going to go for the hazards. I'm just going to go for that nice and powerful U-turn and break it sturdy. As there we go, U-turn doesn't miss, which is nice. We're going to get on out of there. It did actually... That U-turn damage was something else. I know it's minuscule, but you'd expect it to do a lot less. So let's go into our Skeledirge, the ultimate Pokemon we can go into against a nice and powerful Forretress. We can scare this thing out. There's no way they're going to want to stay in against us because Fire-type move is incoming. If we want to predict them, they definitely switch out here. And they probably go into the Rotom Heat or the Vaporeon. So I'm actually inclined to go for a Shadow Ball just to scout damage. See what kind of damage we're going to be doing to that Vaporeon or the Rotom Heat. So let's see what they do here. They might also go into Garchomp. They do go into Garchomp. So Garchomp comes in. Probably going to be setting up hazards as well. We'll go for a Shadow Ball, see how much damage we're talking here. I didn't want to go for the Torch Song because a Throat Spray will activate and it's a bit of a waste using it now. So we're either going to see a nice and powerful Stealth Rocks or a nice and powerful Earthquake here. So let's go back into Squawkabilly. Squawkabilly is definitely the switch. If they anticipate the switch in Squawkabilly for some reason and they go for a Rock Slide or a Stone Edge or a Dragon type move, we're screwed. They actually go for a Swords Dance, so that's pretty scary. Or it would be. It would be, but we know what kind of set this Garchomp is now. We know what kind of set this Garchomp is. It's more of an offensive set. So let's go for the Brave Bird and take this thing out. Brave Bird comes through. We don't miss. Takes out the Garchomp nice and easily. And why did the Squawkabilly changed to green then? That was pretty weird. So we do get hit by the Rough Skin Rocky Helmet. Squawkabilly putting it in the work right now. Elvis II. What can you do about that? Not a lot. Not a lot. Vaporeon comes in. Now, if there's ever a time for us to get some damage off on this Vaporeon, it's probably going to be now. Yeah, I'm just going to go for the Brave Bird again, just to see how much damage it does to the Vaporeon. Does half, which is crazy damage. Recoil's obviously a pain. They go for a Yawn now. Yawn's going to obviously put us to sleep the next turn if we stay in, which I'm inclined to not do because they're more than likely going to switch out this turn into something to resist the Brave Bird since our Brave Bird KO'd them from this range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out. I'm going to assume that they're going to go into either Rotom Heat or the Forretress right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Rotom Heat or Forretress. We go Slowking. Slowking can handle the Rotom Heat just fine. So we'll switch Elvis out real quick and we'll go into our Slowking real quick. If they go for the Rotom, they probably just go for a Volt Switch and then we Chilly Reception on them. Something along those lines. So they actually go for Protect. Oh, okay, fair enough. Good strat. Good strat. So what we can do now is we can put a bit of pressure on them. And we can go straight for something along the lines of Chilly Reception, or we could go for a Future Sight, because here's the thing. they're more than likely going to go for a nice and powerful Wish right now. So let's go for that Future Sight. I guess they could also go Meowscarada, but I don't think they will. They do withdraw the Vaporeon. I thought they'd go for a Wish or something. And they go into the Forretress. So Forretress is not the best switch here. So here's why. We go for a Future Sight. That's obviously going to set up for later. They kind of have to go into the Meowscarada at some point, which is basically going to force a switch, which is great. What we're going to do now is we're going to reveal our secret weapon on this Slowking, being Fire Blast, and hopefully we don't miss. So let's go for the Fire Blast real quick. They actually go for an Iron Defense. They clearly think they can set up on this Slowking, but no. My Slowking carries the Fire Blast as down the Forretress goes. There was no way it was living that. So Slowking gets a nice KO, which is actually surprising. I was looking at their team and I was thinking there's no way Slowking's getting a KO here, but apparently we do. Apparently we do. So now they bring in the Meowscarada. Meowscarada is probably the best Pokemon to bring in right now. It's nice and shiny as well. Nice and shiny. We definitely have to switch out here. We're probably better off going into the Kingambit. I think Kingambit can take this pretty well. Now, we are a Supreme Overlord Kingambit, so the idea is that when you save it till last, it gets a Supreme Overlord boost of 50% to its attacks. Which is amazing, and actually it doesn't boost your attack stat, it boosts your attack power. So they are Protean, they go for a knockoff, which is going to knock off our black glasses. That still does a lot of damage as well, so I'm going to assume that's Choice Banded set. I know knockoff gets boosted in power when it knocks off an item, but it's like whatever. So Future Sight doesn't work because the Meowscarada is Dark type still. Now we get a free attack off. They probably switch out here in something along the lines of the Rotom or the Vaporeon. So I'm going to go for a nice and powerful Kowtow Cleave just to get some damage off on them, as they do go for the U-turn as expected. So Kingambit is looking pretty good right now. They lose some Life Orb damage. Did I say they might be choiced earlier? I said they might be choice banded. Yeah, ignore that because there's Life Orb damage. In comes the Rotom. So Rotom comes on in. Rotom was the expected switch here. We go for a Kowtow Cleave. Or Kowtow Cleave. Kowtow Cleave? I don't know how you pronounce it. They pop a berry, which is interesting to see, as they more than likely go for a Overheat here, or a Will-O-Wisp. So I'm going to go back into Slowking. Slowking doesn't really care about being burned, per se. It's also going to tank an Overheat like it's nothing. They actually probably go for a Volt Switch now, expecting the switch, but I feel like with the pressure we've put on their team with the 2 KOs, they're probably going to make some more offensive plays as they do. As they go for the Overheat, it makes the sky go red, which is pretty cool. Now the special attack has dropped, so we can definitely take a Volt Switch right now. No problem whatsoever. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go for the Chilly Reception, just to get a free, nice and easy switch into the Rotom. They go for the Volt Switch, as you would expect. That's going to do some good damage to us, and they're probably going to go out into the Vaporeon here, or the Meowscarada. And let's see what they do. In comes the Meowscarada as we expected. So Meowscarada comes on in. This is actually a ample opportunity for us to go into Squawkabilly again. So we'll go for the Chilly Reception, make it snow, get a nice and powerful switch out, and go into Squawkabilly real quick. Squawkabilly is going to have a field day with this Meowscarada. I doubt they have Sucker Punch because they have Knockoff. They didn't get Stealth Rocks up, so we're pretty clear to go ahead and switch into this thing if we want to. So let's go into Elvis real quick. Elvis comes in, we outspeed, we can go for a Brave Bird, take this thing out. We could actually go for a U-turn and take it out, so it might be better to do that. Might be better to do U-turn and take it out. Because they're probably going to go into the Vaporeon right now. Kind of want to keep Squawkabilly around for this thing. So let's go for the U-turn. They actually stay in, and they get KO'd by the U-turn. So Meowscarada goes down, Squawkabilly KOs yet another Pokemon because it is a powerhouse in its own right. So that's awesome. Now I'm going to go back into my Slowqueen. The reason I'm going into Slowking again, Slowqueen, whatever, is purely for the fact that we can Chilly Reception again. And even though the snow's up already, Chilly Reception fails, but you still get the switch out, which is really interesting. And I actually learned that from a Hayden video. So in comes the Rotom. Rotom's always a good one, I guess. It's going to go for a nice and powerful Volt Switch. We're just going to go ahead and go straight for another Chilly Reception, as they do go for a Thunderbolt right now, which is going to do a lot of damage, but not quite enough, as we're going to prepare to tell a chillingly bad joke. Chilly Reception comes through, fails, but we still get the switch out, which is awesome. So that's a pretty neat mechanic that we got right there. Now we get a free switch back into Elvis. Elvis the second. This is a homage to Hayden's Squawkabilly he called Elvis. So I'm calling it Elvis the second. I'm not copying him. Shut up. Anyway, we've got double edge. We can easily double edge this thing. It'll KO the Vaporeon if it switches in. It'll more than likely KO. Look, it changed green again. It's weird. We'll go for a double edge. Let's go for the double edge. Double edge comes through. We haven't missed a single attack this game. Rotom goes down. And I think it's time Squawkabilly gets a rest. You did real good this game, Squawkabilly. You did so good. I'm honestly so proud of this thing because on Showdown, when I was testing these teams, it would constantly miss. And this game, it didn't miss a single attack. That is crazy good. Crazy good. So Rotom is down. All we got to worry about is the Salamence setting up its Dragon Dancers, which is going to be a bit of a terror. And we've also got to worry about the Vaporeon. Now, we have a Pokemon that handles both of them exceptionally well. We have the Magnezone, and it's looking like this is going to be a nice and clean victory for the Squawkabilly team, which is absolutely amazing. So they do go into Vaporeon as we went into our Magnezone. So we get a free Thunderbolt off. The great thing is we've got Air Balloons, so the Salamence can't even Earthquake us if it has Earthquake. So we'll go for a Thunderbolt real quick. We'll take this thing out. And the only way they can pull back against the Magnezone is because they haven't terrestrialized yet. And neither have we. The only way we pull back here against the Salamence is if, and that's a big if, they're not Terra Fire. Because if they Terra Fire right now, nice and shiny as well. I love that. Shiny Salamence actually looks pretty good in this game. The green's actually quite nice. So anyway, we'll terrestrialize into an ice type, we'll go for a Tera Blast, and we'll see how this goes. So they're actually going to terrestrialize themselves, and this is where we reveal whether we lose Magnezone or not. So they're going to terrestrialize into a Fairy type, which is bang on. Fairy works as well. It's a really good Salamence set. Gives it immunity to dragons, gives it a neutrality to Fairy. It means this Tera Blast isn't going to KO. Now, if I really wanted to read them, I could have gone for a Flash Cannon. Here's the thing. Salamence could run Terra Fire, it could run Terra Fairy, it could run Terra Steel. I mean, technically it can run any Terra at once, but those are the three more common ones I see on Salamence. So they do go for a Flamethrower, which is going to do some exceptional damage. Doesn't quite get the KO, pops the Air Balloon as we go for a Tera Blast, which should do a lot of damage. Hopefully enough to where we can KO it with something else. So let's go for a Flash Cannon now, just on the off chance they try and set up a Dragon Dance, which they definitely won't. They're definitely going for the KO here. There we go, Flamethrower comes through. Also super interesting to see a special Salamence like that. Of course, they could be mixed. Sometimes you see Fire Blast / Flamethrower on the Dragon Dance set, so they can hit stuff like the Feretrices, and if they're in OU, the Corviknights and stuff like that. But they're a Fairy type, so Checkmate's not going to do much. I think it's down to Skeledirge to get the KO, or Tuscany. They're special though, so I don't want to get hit by a Hurricane. Let's go into Skeledirge and handle it from here. So we'll go into Skeletor real quick. There we go. Skeletor comes on in, gets hit by the spikes, unfortunately. We're going to go for that nice and powerful Torch Song. And this way, even if they did set up a Dragon Dance, we would have been unaware to it anyway. So they go for the Flamethrower. I'm guessing they're choice specs. They must be locked in. As we go for the Torch Song, should KO? Does KO. Awesome. So Salamence goes down. We break it out of its crystal shell. Down it goes. Always a pleasure seeing Salamence, and that is going to be the game. So thank you, Tyler, for the game. That was a pretty fun battle. We got to show off Squawkabilly, and that is the most important thing. Squawkabilly put in the craziest work that game. I can't believe he didn't miss a move. That's crazy. It's hustle, man. Anyway, thank you for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all the wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.